Thanks for tuning in to Becoming Something, where we promise to keep the conversation honest and real for young adults in their 20s and 30s. Every moment we live is training for a future moment, and that's why we do this podcast, because we want you to be prepared for everything that life is going to throw at you. Our hope with this podcast is that it would help you become all that God desires you to be. So with that in mind, let's jump right in to this week's episode of Becoming Something.
What's up, podcast world? It's your boy JP in the podcast studio with Nate and Kathy.
What's up?
What's up?
What's
How
up,
are y'all?
fam? Hey,
What's
guys.
Up? What's up, players?
Okay, so is skee ball for fifth graders or for adults? We were just talking about this before, and Kathy was like, guys, I was playing skee ball last night, and had so much fun.
Pro tip for the listeners. Okay, I have an excellent date night idea for you guys. Okay, go to Main Event.
Oh, yeah, it's local.
I know, I'm like,
There's
I've
lots
never
of
heard of
them.
this before.
There's lots of
Maybe
them. Or,
Dallas or
okay,
something.
haters.
She's
if you
just
don't
saying
have
go to an
one,
Adult
arcade.
Chuck E.
go
Cheese.
somewhere.
Go to an arcade.
Go
Yeah,
to
arcade.
an adult Chuck E. Cheese. Matt and I went. We played skee
Go to
ball.
George's.
We played air hockey. I'm just gonna ignore the haters right now. We played the basketball shooter games and like rode the little motorcycles.
Go to the suspension bridge.
No.
Check out the silos.
Main Event is where it's at.
Do you
I'm
guys
hoping they'll
remember?
sponsor
It's like
me.
David
Remember,
Buster's.
remember the podcast back in the day?
Stop it.
When we remember? 'Cause y'all were
Totally.
like sitting
I
at
know
those
where
tall
you're going.
tables, and you
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, "Hey, guys, what's up, Waco?" And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"Man, I feel like people outside of Waco are gonna listen."
Well, you just don't know what it was like here
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
pre-JP. It was like me, Kathy, and three people would be in the audience. Not for like on a Sunday, and then well, then
And then
I
one
started
person
preaching
listening to
more,
the
and then people started coming.
Yeah,
and then,
man, I do. I feel
and-
like that was a big thank you for the ways that you have single-handedly
Thankfully
carried
I
that place on
appreciate
your
it.
back.
I don't feel like you've said that before.
Yeah.
I knew that you knew because
Yeah.
everyone knows,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it's nice to feel.
Man, humility
seen.
is so attractive.
I know, and that's why Nate's so ugly.
Oh my gosh!
Speaking of attraction,
I'm just joking.
Wow,
Oh!
I don't even have a job anymore.
I just did it.
Oh my
I'm
gosh!
coming for your job, Nate.
Unbelievable. Okay, so people
Gosh.
are interested in dating, as evidenced by people buying dating books like Single, Dating, Engaged, Married, and
Did you see? I did it because I was like, "That's why Nate's so ugly."
that's true.
But I set you up.
Oh yeah, like it's like
It was
bump
like
sets
I
or-
gave you, and then you just
that's good.
slammed
So
it
what are
down.
some other dating books? I can't think of any. Anyway, but people are interested in dating. And one of the questions that we get all the time is like, how important is physical attraction? Like JP said before, find the godliest girl you know and marry her. And that sounds better than what it is in real life. Like when I was single, like there were godly girls that I like wanted to want to date, but I didn't really because I wasn't physically attracted to them. So is that a
You're
me
saying
problem?
you settle for an ungodly girl because I feel like she is.
Everyone knows I
God-fearing.
settled,
So-
and yeah.
God
Actually, we have a call-in interview today with Adelie because
Oh my
she's
gosh.
going to help
Yeah.
answer this
Yeah,
question.
right.
Yeah.
How have you survived? But so how important is physical attraction when
We
looking
should call
for?
Adley.
Oh my gosh.
Should we do that? How,
That's like partially her dream and partially my nightmare. I think.
really?
Yeah.
She would.
Would she?
No,
did she answer?
she
Is she working?
is.
She actually is at work. Today.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
We won't call her then.
Yeah.
She would say you're attractive because
Oh,
she's married
thanks.
to you, and
Wow, this
She's
is like
stuck.
no, I'm just saying
This is
like
Yeah.
she's
You're like
chosen you.
Oh my
No, I mean
gosh.
she's
So
in it.
there is
yeah.
some attraction
She
there.
knows the Bible.
Yeah,
and
she knows what she's supposed to say. She's not going to say something
Oh my
controversial.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
JP,
It's
you
fine.
just tell us the things.
it's fine. All right. How important is physical attraction?
Yeah.
You said last week. That,
Okay.
Or was it you or one of you said that I said?
I thought you had said this before, that physical attraction,
Oh,
chemistry didn't matter in dating. I thought I had remembered you saying that. And I disagree. I think it does matter some. And you were
You two
like, I
fight.
never said that. So I think actually we agree about this.
Yeah, it's not that it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter, and I can almost say this universally to every listener that hears me right now. It doesn't matter as much as you think it does.
Okay.
Like it doesn't matter in reality how much it matters to you. But there's like in you're going to marry somebody. This is the thing that no one tells you is you're going to marry somebody and at some point not be attracted to them or not feel attracted to them. When I say some point, I don't mean like from that moment forward. I just mean like life is full of all kinds of crazy circumstances.
And this is where last week I said that there hasn't been a day where Matt hasn't been attracted to me. And y'all laughed.
Kathy inappropriately and incorrectly declared.
I think it's true.
Yeah, then that's great.
And I asked
Kathy.
Matt, and he agreed with me.
Naivety is bliss, as they say. But no, I just would. I mean, here's the even it's just like I don't know how graphic to go here, but like childbirth and people get sick and you go through long. You just don't know. I mean, in the book, Outdated, and shameless plug, I talk about somebody that was paralyzed on their honeymoon, and like nobody thinks that's going to be them, but they go on their honeymoon. They're in Maui. A wave crashes them up against a rock, and she's a quadriplegic the rest of her life, like completely paralyzed from the neck down. And he carries her places. He puts her in I mean, just like helps her go to the restroom. I mean, does all of these things. Like that's his lot in life, because he had just said a couple days before, for rich or poor, in sickness and health, until death do us part. Right. And we think about this out of convenience, and there's lots of questions around, like the book Song of Solomon, where it talks about it describes physical traits. You have Jacob and Rachel, right? You have these scriptures where guys are peacocking because they like find a girl really attractive, so they're lifting up the stone of the well and they're trying to show their muscles. Hey, look at me, I'm so strong, because she's so beautiful that he cried. And you're like, wait, you seem confused.
Well, I was trying to
actually in scripture?
remember the scripture, because it says that he worked 7 years for her, but it felt like 7 days because of his love for her. I think that's a beautiful line.
You finish it.
When did he cry?
When he saw her.
Well, yeah, he was taken away. And then it was sad because they described Leah as weak-eyed. Yeah. Which does not sound like a compliment. So, poor girl.
Yeah, and so it's just like, so attraction. So what happens is, attraction was at play there. Okay. We don't know if it mattered. Okay. And really, you could argue a case from the text that it didn't matter, because he ended up marrying her sister, which is crazy, right? I mean, the scripture is so crazy and scandalous at times. And so it's descriptive that clearly he was attracted to her, but it's not prescriptive. It's not saying, hey, and by the way, this is important. Right. What is prescriptive is charm is deceitful and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. And so that's Proverbs 31:30. That's prescript. Like, here's something you need to know and apply. Here's from the book of wisdom. Charm, it will deceive you. And beauty, it will go away. And like, let me just break this down for you. You're all getting uglier. Okay? Let me and to make it less offensive, we're all getting uglier. Bree was asking me the other day. She's like, "Hey, have you ever thought about dyeing your hair?" Shut up. And I was like, "Do you mean like blonde?" And she was like, "No, like your natural color." And I was like, "Oh,
so you're saying I have gray hair?
You don't want me to have gray hair when I do your wedding? Like that's what this is about. Like, bad. What's up with that? You know?"
Oh my gosh!
Oh, it was an amazing moment.
And here's the deal. It's like, that's what your hair dyes. That's what's happening to your boy. Like my hair's literally dying, right? And I like look at pictures of the honeymoon, and I'm like, man, we can't keep that on the coffee table. Like, that's scandalous, because we were ripped up on the honeymoon. But it's different when you hit 41. Like, your metabolism changes. And I know you're out there. You're like, no, but I'm gonna do Botox and get lip injections, and I'm gonna hit the gym twice a day and run and eat kale and do CrossFit. And maybe you will, but gravity's still gonna settle in, and literally your cells begin to regenerate different when you hit late 30s, early 40s. Your cells, like your vascular structure, begins to regenerate in a different way, and you start to die. You're on the decline. So when it says beauty is fleeting, it's talking scientifically. Like, some of you are still stuck on that I said you're getting uglier. Like, that's offensive. No, that's what the Bible said. Beauty is going away. And so when you're trying to invest in something, like, let's just say I have $1,000.
Yep.
and I can invest that $1,000 in a stock that's appreciating, like it's going the right direction, or I can invest it in a cryptocurrency that let's just say hypothetically that basically went away the next day, like ceased to exist the next day. Okay, I'm not bitter.
Sounds like you might be.
But if you want to be a wise investor, you're going to invest your money in something that is appreciating, not depreciating. And so what I see so many young adults do is they say, what's most important to me? Physical attraction. Where does this come from? Like what you are attracted to, it literally, your brain has been trained that way. Like if we look in history, like there has been all kinds of types of skin that has been attractive. There's been all kinds of types of complexion. There's been types of shape.
Yes.
Like there's been times where larger women, generally speaking, were really that was the most attractive to the masses. As we talk about this, all kinds of physical qualities have been found, and then you get in the 20s, and it's this like really rail skinny
really
was
small.
attractive. So there's lots of, and today, what do I think is most attractive to the masses, generally speaking today? It's like the porn star shape. Why? Because guys are conditioning their brain to porn. Like a lot of guys are looking at porn, and so when they're looking for a wife, they want her shaped like a porn star. We're conditioned. We're told what to be attracted to. That's what's happening. Like that, and so you have to understand that. And I'm speaking from a guy's perspective because I'm a guy, but girls, it's the same thing.
Totally.
You hear tall, dark, and handsome, or and all of the things. And so God says in 1 Samuel, he says, hey, I do not look at the outside. I do not look at what man looks at. I look at the heart. And so somebody's going to ask the question right now, but what if I'm not attracted to her? And I would say that's every Friday I get this question. What if there's this super godly girl, but I don't find her attractive? I'm like, why would you not find godliness attractive?
Woo! That's good.
That's a you problem.
Because you say all the time, what you feed grows, right? You just said that basically we are conditioned to think things are attractive because we've been feeding it either through porn or through movies or media that we're consuming. So how do we feed the right things to grow the right kind of attractiveness, or the things we should be attracted to? How do we grow that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it literally is like, people. This is a weird place to go. So let me say this: like what somebody's really excited about, somebody else despises. And what somebody else is really excited about, the other. So, for example, there's like this tiny house movement.
Yes.
Think about this. There are people that are like, man, here's what I really want. I want to buy the smallest house I can find and live there with nothing. Like that's the dream. And then there's somebody else that's like, man, no, like the goal is the biggest house, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 square foot. Like I want a big house. And so the person who's looking for the tiny house despises the big house, and the person who wants the big house despises the tiny house, right? And their interests drive their behavior. And so in the same way, like there are guys out there that's like, man, what do I want? Like what's most important to me? I want her to have Romans memorized. I want her to have an hour quiet time every morning, that she just walks with the Lord, that she has a thriving prayer life, that she serves in her church. Like that's what I'm looking for. And there's somebody else that sees no value in that. It really is an issue of what you value. Do you value the things that God values? And the reality for a lot of guys is they want Mother Teresa supermodel. Like, hey, I want her to save kittens from a burning building,
but look good while she does it.
But I also want her to be fit and do CrossFit and like model on the side. And you want all of those things, and what happens is because you value the wrong thing, it keeps you single, it keeps you fearful, you're not asking girls out, you're moving into your 30s, you desire marriage, but you don't know how to find it because you've wanted the wrong things. You've got to keep in mind that dating, the way that we do it today, is about 120 years old. It didn't exist prior to 120 years ago. The vast majority of people were arranged. The vast majority of marriages were arranged. So that meant they met their husband or wife on the day they were married. If you're meeting your spouse the day you get married, how important is physical attraction?
You don't have a choice.
You have no say in it. You have no say in it. And still to this day, those are the marriages with the lowest divorce rate because, and some of that is skewed for a number of reasons, but some of it legit is because it's exciting. It's like, man, we have the rest of our lives to like learn about each other and make this thing work. And that's the culture that we grew up in. And so there's something to that is the biblical precedent that we have. I'm not trying to take everyone to an arranged marriage, but I am trying to reinvent the arranged marriage so that it's like, okay, you know me. Like if I was single, let's just say hypothetically, I'm not. I'm happily married to Monica. But if I was single, it'd be like, hey, you guys know me. Mm-hmm. Who do you know that is also single that I would be a great match for? And would you set us up? Mm-hmm. And like within the church, like that's the arranged marriage.
Totally.
Like that's the beauty of it.
That's my dream job. Just want to set people
gosh,
up.
It is.
I was trying to do it earlier today.
You cheer on when people go through breakups.
No, I don't. I sit with them in their sadness, and then I say, when you're ready to try again, let me help you. Because it's fun to be a part of that. Anyways.
Yeah. So, okay, I have a really uncomfortable question. I don't really know how to ask this without feeling uncomfortable.
I'm just not going to look at you.
What else? Like, when have you ever felt uncomfortable asking
hasn't kept
a
you
question?
From speaking before.
What in the world? This is going to be bad.
Monica's not like the ugliest person
She's
in the
beautiful.
world.
Both of you are married to
but how do I say that?
Women.
It's like, so Monica's, I don't know how to say this.
It's, I'm not chopped liver myself. No, I'm just kidding. That's what I said. It goes both ways. Here's the deal. It's like she is beautiful. She is beautiful, but she's had 3 children, right? Yeah. And she's beautiful in a different way than when she was 23.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And like she has lots of wrinkles, like around her eyes and on her forehead.
She's gonna love this.
No, here's the deal, and I love them.
Yeah.
Because they're there because she smiles so much.
That's awesome.
Right? And that's not, nobody out there is looking for a woman with lots of wrinkles. Yeah. But that's what I have because she smiles a lot. And our marriage is in, like, here's the truth. The 23-year-old girl that does CrossFit, that is just like blessed with a really shapely figure and beautiful eyes and a super symmetrical face, and has just learned to put on makeup really well through YouTube videos, is still extremely attractive to me. And I assume when I'm 62 is still going to be extremely attractive to me, right? But that's not that is not what I need to go for. Like, that is poison to me. Like, that's death to me. That, like, let's just say she pursued me, right? And like, that woman wants to turn my children against me, my marriage against me, wants to take the church from me, wants to ruin my job. And it's not her. I'm not trying to villainize her. It's Satan. It's demonic forces at work through that. And so what happens, and this is like God's design, when Monica and I, we're getting uncomfortable, when Monica and I experience intimacy, right, she remains the epitome of attraction for me because she is my outlet and I am her outlet. And we come together frequently.
You did it 3 times.
What'd you say?
You did it 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, Weston, Finley, and Presley. I'm tracking. We practiced a lot around those 3 times. Okay. And so when we come together in that act, like that, we are each other's outlet. That's God's gift. And that's why it says, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. There's a bonding that happens through that act. Today, most single people are bonding to all kinds. They're bonding to people. They're bonding to pornography. They're bonding to hashtags on Instagram. They're bonding to 2-dimensional images. Like, they have conditioned their body not to bond, so that when they get in a relationship, monogamy is really difficult because they have held supreme looks. We have reconditioned our brains to hold looks as maximum priority. Mm-hmm.
And even if there's girls out there listening, or guys that haven't like looked at a ton of porn, we're still conditioned with just the general media that we consume, right? Like, if you watch a ton of romance movies, like that used to be my thing, was the chick flick, and they all have the same type guy, super fit, who somehow always loses his shirt in the show or
plays
the movie.
Plays
the new Top Gun, they're like playing football on the beach, and it's just like, you are inundated with it even if you're not really trying to look for it. So we have to be really careful where we're looking.
Man, I think what you were talking about, how physical attraction's gotten less important in marriage, is like so true and so interesting. What people need to hear.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been married nearly as long. I've been married for 4 years, and I do think Adelie is attractive. But it's like when you when you see the same person every single day, like that, you kind of even forget that. Does that make sense? She's attractive, but I'm way more attractive to the other things.
Oh.
Like who she is, exactly what we're talking about. Okay. So I don't know. It's like that just gets way less important in marriage.
Well,
I just go ahead.
Well, I was say, like, the things that you care about most, Nate, like maybe back in the day that would have been attraction is the thing you care most about, what someone looks like. But you're spending time with Jesus. You're in his word. You want someone who can be a good mom. You want someone who serves our community, who's a great friend. Like, the things that matter to you now are different, and so that's why what you're attracted to is even different. Like, the things that you're most excited about with Adelie are the things that you care the most about, which is her love for God, because that's what's grown the most in you.
Like how you talk about how marriage is way more of like a, what do you say, like a partnership than what people realize.
Yeah, you want to find someone that you're willing to suffer with. Life is hard.
Yes.
And so you don't need a trophy wife. And again, I keep talking from the male perspective because I'm a man. You're not looking for a trophy wife. You're looking for someone to go to war with 100%.
you. 100%.
It's like, and here's where I feel like handcuffed in the conversation is if I say all the things I want to say, people are like, oh, can't believe you said that. Shocked how you put it. It's like nobody's having these conversations with single people. It's like guys are like, oh man, I love boobs, and it's like, here's the deal. You don't realize that when you're married, those things become functional. Okay, and I'm serious. Like, that's the thing where people are like, "Whoa, I can't believe you said that." But you need to know that you're not going to touch those boobs for a year. Those are no longer yours, right? And when you're in that
what do you mean by that?
When she has a baby and is nursing a child.
That's how she feeds the child, right? And
baby,
and they're sore and they blow up, fill up with milk, and then decrease, and they leak. All kinds of things happen. It's true, man.
I know.
It's absolutely true. And it's not like you're not like, oh, that was Monica's thing. No, that's every woman. Every woman, right? Anyone that would bear a child. And you're in there in the delivery room, and like, man, all kinds of crazy stuff happens in that. Like, you have to, like, after you get an epidural or no, after you give birth,
they have to push out the placenta.
But you also have to pass gas. I don't know if you remember that. You don't have to
did you know
anything.
Most women poop when they when they have a baby?
Wow. Yes, that's the thing.
I did not know.
There's something called an episiotomy, which is when she tears, and like you're like, what? And I know we're like,
Matt had to go sit down after this last.
We're not trying to like shock you. We're saying, hey, there's an entire world out there when you're thinking about marriage and who you're going to marry that you're not even considering. And what happens is if you have this inflated view of physical attraction, if that's what's most important to you, you're setting yourself up, 1, for disappointment, 2, you're feeding selfishness, and 3, you're probably going to be a self-absorbed spouse, meaning you're not going to be really good at it, because selfishness is the enemy of a healthy marriage. Like, there's just not a lot of room for selfishness in marriage and parenting. Like, at that point, it's time to put your big boy pants on and become an adult real fast because you're at war. Like, that's the truth. And I'm not trying to just be like shock and awe right now. Like, that's the reality.
And I know we joke about the dad bod, right?
Yeah.
But like, the reason Matt has a dad bod is because he's a dad. He doesn't have time to be in the gym or running every single morning. He does to stay healthy when he can. But he has a dad bod because he doesn't have the time and the commitment when he was single to like go and be in the gym. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just using Matt's name.
You done upset Kathy.
No.
That's what happened here. Now she's upset.
No, what I'm just saying is like, I actually am more attracted to his dad bod because it means that he's a good dad and he's prioritizing his time with us and with the kids.
Preach.
And so,
Dude, preach. That'll preach.
I don't want a 33-year-old husband who it looks like a freaking gym rat.
Down.
I'm just saying.
Calm down
I'm not
right
even
now.
upset, but y'all are making me.
Why are you so mad?
I'm so sweaty.
It's so hot in here.
It is. I was like, am I
thought
like
I was
super
really
sick right now or something?
having some reaction.
It is hot up in the studio right now.
Okay, I have this analogy.
Okay.
Because I'm such a smart,
I got ants
teacher.
in my pants.
It's like attraction matters, but it's not ultimate, It's like the pinky
your pinky,
on your
the
finger.
pinky.
finger.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a video of this just so you guys can see it on the old. This is as we're recording the
fanning
podcast.
us.
He is fanning
Praise
us.
God.
That's amazing.
I'll throw that up on Insta.
Whew. This is really yours, so you can take it from here.
Okay,
'cause I
so
forgot
this
the
is
other
what's important in a
fingers.
relationship. The pointer finger, that you're going the same direction, equally yoked. 2 Corinthians 6:14, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. That there's that generally in life you're going the same direction. This one that is a finger that you communicate something with in a short period of time. This is communication. Communication is important, that you guys can communicate, that you can resolve conflict. This is the ring finger. This symbolizes commitment, that they're committed to you, that they're not letting other people into the relationship, that you see like a chastity to them, like a commitment to them, that they're willing to enter into a covenant before God. The thumb, you have a disposable thumb. Opposable, sorry.
Please don't
Disposable.
Opposable thumb, meaning
amazing.
that like
shoot.
the reason you can grab something is because this finger is on the other side of these fingers, and so this is complement. They complement you. Like you're not looking for someone just like you. You're looking for someone who's really good at things that you're not great at, and someone who is not great at things that you're really great at. So you can step in those voids. They're complementary to you. And then this one, the pinky. It's an important finger. Like you don't want to go through life without it, but if you had to lose one, you might, like if I said, hey, you got to cut off a finger, which one are you going to cut off? You probably want to go pinky. That's physical attraction. Like, are you attracted to them? So
That's
it
so
has
good.
a place.
Yep.
It has a place. It's just not first place. And so if you're just listening to this, you can't see what I'm doing, but it's just pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, thumb, and pinky finger. And that's a good, like, hey, here's the things that you're looking for. Physical attraction has a place.
Totally.
It's just not first place. Charm is deceitful, beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. The Lord does not look at what man looks at. He looks at the heart. And so you want to be attracted to their heart.
That's so good.
So what if there's someone that I know right now, she's in my church, she loves Jesus, I'm single, she's single, I'm not necessarily like attracted to her physically. What should I do?
Take her out.
Yeah, sometimes
on a
attraction
date.
comes with time. And so it's like I wouldn't put so much focus on the physical attraction piece. I would say, am I attracted to her love for the Lord?
Yep.
I'm not asking you to be a martyr or like take one for the team or like, hey, marry someone that you aren't attracted to. Like, here's the reality, guys. I'll speak to the guys. You have to be able to cherish her. Like, she needs to feel like you need to make her feel like a princess, that you would love and cherish her. If you cannot love and cherish her, that's your maturity issue. Do not marry her. And ladies, you need to be able to respect him, you know, and remain committed to him. If you cannot respect him and remain committed to him, then do not marry him, right? That's not going to be a great marriage. And these come straight from Ephesians 5:22 through the end of the chapter.
And I will say, spend time with God. Make sure you're growing your affection and your love for God and things that are of God, so that you will be attracted to the right things in people, that you'll be looking for the right things, because that's what you're feeding.
It's the Becoming Something podcast. Like, we're all becoming something or becoming someone. And so become the someone that someone you're looking for is looking for.
So
Yeah.
good.
Become someone that someone you're looking for is looking for. I think Andy Stanley may have said that first, but that's great.
So
it
good.
fits with the podcast. Become someone that someone you're looking for is looking for. If you're single and you're not dating right now, it's a great time. And you desire marriage, it's a great time to prepare for marriage. Like, what does it take to be married? It takes some skills, right? Like, if you don't like to cook, then you're going to want to find a husband that likes to cook, or a wife that likes to cook. If you aren't, strong and not like super keen on the protection, like protecting the house area, then you're going to want to find someone who is, like, someone who compliments you. If disciplining children scares you to death, then you're going to want to make sure that you marry someone that is willing to discipline the children. Like, you just think about it. It's a lot more pragmatic than anybody wants to give it credit for. It's a lot more practical than anyone thinks.
That's great.
I think this is going to be helpful.
Totally.
Anything else?
Also,
I
I
mean,
am
I have-
attracted to Matt. I just feel like I should say that.
I have another question.
You're keeping us in this hot room even longer.
I know.
It better be good.
But like, so this is, I don't know if this is going too far, but it's like, man, what if I like don't want to have sex with them? Like, what if I'm like not attracted to them? Like, in like sex is one of the things that guys are and probably in a lot of girls are really excited about marriage.
Well,
Like,
I wouldn't marry someone that you don't want to have sex with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to experience intimacy with. I will say that you could take any man and any woman on the planet Earth, like of age, any male adult, any female adult, you can put them on a deserted island, and like the human race is going to further. They're going to figure that out.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
just like the way that God designed our bodies, the where he put the parts and how the parts function, and how a man places his seed inside a woman, and it fertilizes an egg, and an egg implants in the uterine wall, and it grows a baby in the womb, and then that baby is birthed forward. It really is an incredible supernatural miracle, a supernatural design of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And so I wouldn't marry someone that you're unwilling to be intimate with. Like that should be a giant red flag.
Yep.
Probably your maturity issue more than anything. And there's a lot of people that are having sex with people they're not attracted to, like meaning one night stands and all
Yeah.
of that in the world. I mean that's happening all the time. Like just think about how what am I trying to say? How much like prostitution happens. I mean, you're paying, the people are paying for sex of someone they haven't even seen, because that's how desperate for that act they are.
yeah.
And so there's, I don't, that's not a big concern. Other dumb things that people say is like, well, what if everything doesn't fit, and this and that, whatever. I'm just like, man, God made you for that act. And if it takes years and years and years,
Yep.
like that's part of his design.
Yep.
And you guys becoming one together.
Yeah.
So, hey, it has a place. It's just not first place.
So good.
This
Yes.
podcast was hot.
Thanks for tuning
Literally.
in.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Becoming Something, where we promise to keep the conversation honest and real for young adults in their 20s and 30s. Every moment we live is training for a future moment, and that's why we do this podcast, because we want you to be prepared for everything that life is going to throw at you. Our hope with this podcast is that it would help you become all that God desires you to be. To find out more, visit becomingsomething.com.